Ministry of Education and Culture has designated May as Early Childhood Awareness Month. Throughout the month, the Early Childhood Unit within the Ministry of Education and Culture engages in a variety of activities in an effort to raise awareness of the importance of early childhood education. Early childhood encompasses children from birth through under 8 years of age. The goal of early childhood education is to ensure that all children within this age group have regular and consistent opportunities for enriching and engaging activities regardless of socioeconomic status, race, family structure, or physical ability. For the Department of Information and Public Relations and the Ministry of Education and Culture, I am your GIS host, Bria Smith, and on this program, Assistant to Education Officer Ms. Genevieve McMaster of the Early Childhood Unit sits in with Ms. Mendisa Fret of First Impressions Childcare and Mrs. Althea McTavius of McTavius Tiny Tots to discuss parent involvement in the early childhood centers.
Thank you, Ms. Smith, and good day, everyone. Welcome again to Early Childhood Month and this evening's presentation. With me, I have Mrs. Althea McTavius from McTavius Tiny Tots and Ms. Mendisa Fret from First Impressions Learning Center. And with this evening, we're going to be talking about parental involvement in the development of children in the early years. Welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now, over the years, we've continued to hear about how important it is for parents to be involved with the centers and with education of their children and so forth. As an educator myself, I firmly believe in this. However, over the years, I've noticed that the parents participating has kind of declined. So we don't have it as much. We don't see it as much. And as I talk with my fellow colleagues, I hear the same complaints. They don't see the parents and so forth. I thought that that was for the most part at the public level where, you know, the children are a bit older and so you find a bit of a decline. But now working in early childhood, more specifically at the lower level, I recognize and I hear center managers and teachers complaining about the same issues. Do you have that challenge?
What I notice is that children are getting children, and children, they are not really being educated enough about being parent, and that is the reason why.
Okay. Do you feel it's important, though, for them to be involved?
Yes, they should be involved, because when you look at the parent getting involved in the child's life or even getting to know who the child teacher is, it gives the children a sense of security, a sense of self-esteem, because they know to affect, okay, then if my mommy, my teacher, I know anytime she could call my mommy and tell my mommy what goes on at school. So I have to really try to be on my best behavior, okay. Try to listen more, be more attentive,
So have you been noticing then that difference in those children whose parents are involved in the centers? They come in, they know their teachers, even from the standpoint of knowing their children's friends. Do you see a difference in those children's, whether their behavior, their performance? Do you notice anything different?
Yeah, it's at the lower level is not a great difference that you notice in terms of as compared to primary, but you do notice it, and if it's not established from lower down at the child care center level, later on there might be a little bit of problems higher up.
So what advice then would you say to those parents who don't feel comfortable coming in for whatever reason and they think that it is up to the teachers? What advice would you give to the teachers about how they can better encourage parents to be a part?
Well, I will use myself as an example. I have few parents' number. I will text them, I will send scriptures to them, I will send little quotes to them. So in that way we form a relationship that, we get along. It's not only when I have something to say about your child, I will call you or text you. So I form that relationship that we get along. So if I have to text you and say, okay, then I think you need to come in and check on something with the child or whatever the case is, it wouldn't be that, oh, she's only calling me because something with the child.
Okay.
We has a relationship.
Okay.
So I believe in maybe, trying to get the parents' number, and let's form a relationship, because I think it's best for the child and even for the parents to know that, okay, then this teacher is really care about my child and the relationship, because it should be like a triangle, parents, child, teacher.
Okay.
I definitely agree with out there. Teachers, I would encourage you to reach out to the parents, because they might be a little apprehensive and feel, you're not approachable. Go ahead and, as Alder says, reach out. You can try and call them, or if they're dropping off, run out to the car. If you have a quick second, you're able to do that. Say, hi, come on in, let's chat. Do the reaching out. Sometimes it's better to come from you if the parents aren't willing to do it.
Okay. Right. I like that idea, and I think that is something I've also, tried myself in the past, and encourage parents as well to feel free to drop in. At your center, is it open? Can parents come in and just observe if they have a free moment that they can do that, or come in and participate?
Yes, well,
Yes.
we in my center, we have open doors. We tell parents, you don't have to call. You can drop in, because we have nothing to hide. And what we said to the parent, if you come in, knowing if the child sees you, the child might behave different, and, so just make yourself available in a way that the child doesn't see you, and you could just look at the child, see the performance of the child, just have a little idea what the child is doing in your absence, to know that the child is interacting with other children, and not really missing you that much, that the child is comfortable in its setting.
Yes.
And that is one we always tell parents, come by anytime. We don't have anything to hide.
I think it's also important too that a discussion takes place so that parents and teachers are on the same track. So I know what the center expects, and so therefore when I come, I help to uphold that as well. Sometimes people tend to feel, well, when mommy comes, the child behaves differently because they see mommy or they see daddy or whatever, and so they can go a bit overboard and so forth. But if the parents know early what is expected, what the center goes for, they can help to reinforce that as well, so that the children start to recognize that they're all on the same page. I think that might help as well too. Okay, good. From a parent standpoint now, what are some of the things that you think parents can do? Should parents sit back and wait for the schools necessarily to invite them? Because some people, as you say, some people think, well, they only call me when there's a problem with my child, or they want something. If I happen to feel that way as a parent, what would you suggest that I do to try to change that? Do I have a right to try to change that?
Yes, you as a parent have the right to feel involved and wish to be involved in your child's school life and what's happening at their school community, because they spend so much time there. So yes, if you wish to participate, you can go ahead and see and offer suggestions. Most centers are more than willing to hear suggestions. Everybody's always trying to improve. So I would definitely encourage you to reach out if you find the school, if you think the school can do a little more, go ahead and do that.
Okay. And how would you suggest we do that? Because, sometimes we can come across somewhat domineering and so forth, and we don't want to create discomfort. So how would you suggest a parent wanting to be able to contribute to the ideas or wanting to share their thoughts, how would you suggest they go about doing such a thing?
Well, PTA meeting is a very good idea, because normally when you have PTA meeting, we always ask for feedback. And then we say to parents, like, you are on the outside looking in. Sometimes they will think that we cannot see, but we asking to always give your input. Never mind how it sounds, what it might look like, because we don't know until you really sometimes point it out to us. So we say to parents that we're always looking for new ideas, and for your ideas, if you have any question, any answers, or anyway, you could tell, okay, I see you all doing this, but I think you should do it this way. We are open for anybody ideas, so we always tell them, feel free to, mention anything that you see that is better, able to help us to improve, the center.
As you talk about PTAs, tell me, Elizabeth, how do you do your PTAs at your school, at your centers? What is that like?
At our center, we don't have a formal PTA necessarily. We have parent groups where they come together if there's a project. I know right now I'm going to throw that out there. We need assistance in redoing the art on the walls at the schools. Past parents did it. On Saturdays they volunteered, they got together, we got the supplies, they came out on Saturday mornings, we picnicked and we got it done. So we don't have a formal president. It's not a formal structure, but it's more come together, let's get the job done, this is what we need. We take a little less formal approach at first impressions.
The parents' project. I like that idea.
Well, we mostly have something about general PTA where we have, all the different parents coming, like from baby sections to the last class in the preschool. And sometimes we have, like we should be having next week, the graduating class parents to come in.
Okay.
And we talk about the children who's graduating and what's going to take place and what we expect of parents and, the different formality of the graduation for the children. And sometimes the parents that sometimes you really want to talk to, they does not show up to the PTA meeting.
Okay.
You understand me? So the thing is that if you want to talk to a parent and you see that they're not showing up at the meeting, then I'll find a way like to get their number and, call them and tell them, I need to talk to you about, something, and have them to come in when it's convenient for them, that we could meet at any time. Even after the building is closed, you can call me at home, we can even meet someplace, but I will always find a way to reach out to that parent.
Okay, sounds good. Have you thought of using the opportunity to do some education? Because as one of the things that you highlighted was that some of your parents are younger now, and so they don't always know, and a word of guidance to help in terms of your own observations of some of the things that are generally taking place and so forth. Is the PTA one of the places that you could use to do that, or one of the places that you have used to do that, and how effective do you find it?
Yes, we use the PTA many times, like for example, when they had this mosquito disease, the chikungunya, where the nurse came in.
Okay.
And we had the PTA meeting, the nurse came in and she educated the parents and the teachers about what to expect and what to look for. So we always have somebody comes in and, if we have a problem with maybe with something is going on in the ear, and we need to get it across to the parents, then we always get in that person, who exactly know what it's all about to educate the parents about it.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you would like to say or to encourage parents, as this being Early Childhood Month, and we're seeing that education includes me, and the children, in a sense, having a voice to say education includes me as well. And they may not, in this sense, be able to speak for themselves to say it. So if you could imagine what they would be saying, what are some of the things that you think that they would want parents to know about how they're involved in this?
Well, I would really like parents to, get more involved. Some parents will come, they sign the child, and they will just leave. And they have other parents who will come and say, like, good morning, how is your morning? Did you have a nice day? And, they give you a feeling that, I appreciate you looking at my child in my absence. And other parents who just come and then you just just sign in and just hand over the child and then leave. But there are some that I know that really means well, then not to a fact that I have chosen Tiny Tots as a center that I trust the caregivers to look after my child, so I have no fear or nothing about that. So as caregivers, we always believe that, we step into the parents' shoes when they step out.
Okay.
Because we know parents want the best for their child. We put ourselves in parents' place, and we just try our best to be there for the child as the parent.
From the child's point of view, I would, yes, as a parent you're dropping off the child, I'm trying to get to work. Occasionally, it might not have to be in the morning, it could be in the afternoon. Take some time, pass through the classroom, see what's going on. The child would appreciate you coming in to see what it is they have been doing. And they might not always remember everything that happened in the day to tell you at home or on the way home. So if you come into the classroom, you might jog their memory and they'll be like, oh yes, look, we did this, or, and they'll better be able to explain to you what is happening so you can realize that learning is taking place. So I would encourage you to come to view their space to see what's going on.
Okay. What time do y'all do lunch? Just in case, as a parent, I would like to come and have lunch with my child one day. Is that something I could do? And what time do you do it? And would I need to call and schedule that beforehand?
Not necessarily. Lunch for the daycare, which would be under 2 and under, begins somewhere between 11:30 and 12. They are having lunch.
Okay.
Preschool has lunch between 12. From 12 they start to do lunch. So yes, you can come by and have lunch, participate in what's happening during the lunch hour and the lunch conversations. So yes, sure.
Okay. Any other words, final comments or thoughts that you would like to share?
Well, I would like to say to parents, listen to your children. Because sometimes a child might, ask a child what you want for lunch. What would you like to have today for lunch? Some parents pack the child bag with noodles, and the child say, "Mommy, I don't want noodles." And they still pack the noodles in the child bag. Okay. And then here's where, from the time the child sees you go into his lunch bag to get his noodles, the child start puking. Because the child don't know what is in his bag, and the child don't want the lunch.
Wow.
So we are saying to parents, let the child have some kind of say in what goes into their bags. We're not talking about junk food like Cheetos and soda, but at least for lunch and even like for snack. Because some children, we tell them, we prefer to have a fruit at mornings.
Yes.
And here's where a child going to bring Cheetos. I told my mommy that I have to have a fruit, and she just put the Cheetos in my bag. So here's where the child know I can have the Cheetos. So we as the caregivers now will have to go and find a fruit to give the child. You understand me? So we are saying to parents, please get your child involved in when you are packing the bag. It's not all about the parent.
Yes.
Is the child going to have the lunch? And don't ever believe that they don't know what they want. Okay?
They know. Okay.
So give them a sense of trying to know, making decisions for themselves, making them independent. Remember, as parents, you're not going to be out there with them all the time. And have them to stand on their own 2 feet sometime. And don't ever think they are too young. Okay? Because I have a 1.5 year old, his name is Remick. And Remick is only 1.5 years, and Remick always goes around. If there's a blanket on the floor, he picks it up and throws it in the crib where it belongs.
Okay.
You understand me? So don't ever think that they are too young to think for themselves. That is my comment.
All right, Randy?
I would like to encourage parents to have dialogue with your children. Speak with them. They're listening. When you're driving in the car, I know you want to listen to the radio. Turn it down at times and have dialogue. Even with the babies, they're back there. They may not be able to answer you with verbal words, but they're listening. Please, I would encourage you, read to them, have dialogue with them, build their vocabularies.
All right. Well, I would like to say thank you. I have found the discussion quite interesting. And I do agree with so much of what you've said. As a matter of fact, I agree with all of what you've said. I know sometimes that we tend to think that they're small and we want to establish routine, and so we want to teach them the right things and so forth. So we give, we dictate a lot of things. And times have changed, and children need, if we're going to have children who are going to be able to make wise decisions as they grow older, they need to learn it. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So you can't have wasted all the earlier years when most of their learning would have been taking place and then wait until they get older and wonder why they're not doing these things. So I do agree with you, and I thank you very much for sharing that. And I too would like to encourage parents, get involved. They are your children as an individual. They are also our children as a society and as a community, and what they become impacts all of us on some level. So let's get involved. It's a partnership, and we need to work together. And if we're going to work together, we need to have that communication so that we understand where each other is coming from and that we can respect that. Okay? And it makes the process that much smoother, and our children learn how to be a part of that when they see us modeling it. Okay? So thank you once again for being with us. Thank you for sharing, and I wish you every luck and every success in your centers and in your role that you are playing and contributing to the development of our territory's children in the early years. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
On this program, you have been listening to Assistant Education Officer Ms. Genevieve McMaster of the Early Childhood Unit, Ms. Mendisa Fret of First Impressions Child Care Center, and Mrs. Althea McTavius of McTavius Tiny Tots, as the Early Childhood Unit continues to establish early childhood education through the promotion of language development, physical activity both indoors and outdoors, imaginative play, social interaction with adults and their peers, and exploration through music, art, nature, and math. For the Department of Information and Public Relations and the Ministry of Education and Culture, I have been your JS host, Bria Smith, and it has been a pleasure having you with us. To keep up with the latest events and get your official government news, visit the government website at www.bvi.gov.vg or follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at BVI Government.